right, well, welcome to this Wednesday, June 11th version of Keystroke Live. Thanks for attending. My name is Dave Hunsinger, and today we will be talking about the ID Tech Sign&Pay PIN pad. And just a reminder, it's every Wednesday, same login credentials, so it's easy to do. This month we missed Michael Gebb. He was out of town on the first Wednesday, but he will be here on, I believe it's July 2nd. I am going to talk about the ID Tech Sign&Pay PIN pad today. It's a PIN and signature device, so it's got a touch screen to do the sign-on and keys to enter numbers. It is tokenized and end-to-end encrypted, which is really a great security method. Keystroke doesn't even really touch the credit card number ever, and it's very difficult for anyone to breach the data or grab it in any way. So we highly recommend the end-to-end encryption, which are like the Ingenico device we talked about last week. This ID Tech one, we're going to talk about the MagTech iPad next week, and then we'll talk also about the Genius device from Merchant Warehouse. There's a lot of talk about EMV and how that's coming, which is the chip and PIN or chip and signature, but really you get a lot of those security aspects today with the end-to-end encryption. It's not on your computer anywhere. You're not handling sensitive data. It's not getting stored. It takes you, the dealer, and us, the software company, out of the loop of the secure cardholder data and the PAN, the personal account number, or primary account number, the actual card number, we never really need or store. The price on this ID Tech Sign&Pay is under $400. I think it's like $325 from JR's POS Depot, and then you do the encryption for the mag stripe and the PIN pad, the debit. So I think that's another $30 or so in shipping, so it's about $400 available from JR's or POS data. We did have a memory leak problem with the device that we discovered and repaired in build 49, and then we made some more improvements to build 50. So if you've heard about some problems with it, we believe we completely took care of those, and it's working really well now just in the past month or two in the releases. So if you are using one of these devices, you want to be sure you are up to date on Keystroke as well, which is part of PCI anyway, that you're running on current operating system and current payment software. This is also great for use with Keystroke Express. If you sign somebody up with a Mercury account, it's not too expensive. Setup is there to go easy in Keystroke. And with that, I am going to switch over to my Keystroke and log in here and just kind of do a quick transaction. Here are some golf tees, and I am just going to select Visa or Mastercard. Now it's asking for the PIN pad information, and if I can hopefully see here correct, here is the ID Tech PIN pad, and I have to get my screen a little bit better shape here so I can see what I'm looking like. Here is the PIN pad, card swipe across the top here, keys to enter. Tough to read there, but it says please swipe card. So with that, I am going to go ahead and swipe the card. And it's processing and approved. And now, and again, it's kind of hard to see, but it's requesting the signature on the screen there. So I'm going to go ahead and sign. And I can print a credit card with signature, and there is the receipt. Hopefully you can see that with a scribble there on my signature. Very easy to use, very quick. I can do debit, I can do EBT. And how does all that work? Well, I am going to switch into my KeyPay, and hopefully now you can see my keystroke payment module settings. I'm set up to process with Mercury Payment Systems. I have my test account number. The big thing here is you want to be sure this use tokenized is on, because that's part of the security and end-to-end encryption that Mercury uses. They just send tokens or representations of the card data back and forth, and my data directories. Very simple, straightforward setup there. Now if I switch back to Keystroke, I can go into my configuration manager, and as always I have used my appearance function to make my menu choices larger. I always like doing that, set my menu font size to XL. That makes it easier for you guys to see and me see what the settings are. And in here under, why don't we look at hardware first, and PinPad. It's very easy that when you set the ID Tech Sign&Pay up, you basically, with keystroke closed, you plug it into the computer, loads the device drivers, you're ready to go. You've got that USB HID interface driver set up, so it's ready to go. I just select that. I can run a test, and it'll ask me to swipe a card or enter numbers and all that. And then I go to signature capture. And again, I select my device, my ID Tech Sign&Pay, and I am going to go ahead here, and just so we don't get too much background noise, I will mute the background there. So you just select that, the ID Tech Sign&Pay, and the port comes up automatically because it's that USB HID device. There is a wait time. How long do you want it to wait for signature? So you can time it out sooner or later if you want to, and whether or not you want to display it on the screen. Again, you can test it. It just runs through that and lets you enter a signature. The other things we set up in here are under the sales payment type for Visa, Mastercard. I need to be sure to select my authorization method. If I take a look at it, I'm just going to hit F3 on KP Credit. Really, there's nothing in here. This is the default setup. I don't have to do anything. That's because back in KeyPay, I used my default setup. You can specify different settings ID, and like when I'm testing stuff, I might have one for Merchant Warehouse, one for Mercury, one for if I'm doing like the Verifone SE1000, so to have some different settings, different test accounts. But typically in a merchant installation, they just have one. You use the default. You don't need to specify anything here. Just the card reader is the pin pad. There are choices in here if you want to do the CV2 verification. Some stores do that even when they swipe, just so they're assured that they physically have the card there, but typically you only want to put that in if it's manually entered only. And then whether or not you want to capture the signature. Remember, this test KeyPay, if I click that, it runs 10 test transactions between Keystroke and KeyPay. Doesn't really hit the internet, just make sure everything within Keystroke is set up okay. So it doesn't matter what device you're using or anything, that is just making sure, okay, Keystroke is running and it sees KeyPay. And that has everything set up within Keystroke. I also would like to show you here, and this is a setup guide for the ID Tech Sign&Pay. It's on the Keystroke CD under OPOS, and then there's ID Tech. And even though there's not really, the OPOS driver is installed automatically, we put them there because the drivers for all the other pin pads, and it's kind of a nice organized place. But remember, no matter what you're doing, if you've got different pin pad devices, you can always look on that CD in the OPOS directory and there's a nice setup. This is a real good step-by-step. Connect it to the computer, set up KeyPay, set up Keystroke, and you're ready to go. Plus a little troubleshooting information in there if you do need that as well. Now if I go back to Keystroke here, and I will go back to the Sales Manager. Now, I've got this set up to run credit cards and debit cards. You can also use it for EBT. You can use it to just capture a signature on like an on-account sale if you need to. So if I come in and let's do it this one for two of them, change the amount a little bit. So I can select debit. It says, is that the amount? I do okay. Now the PIN pad again is asking me to, I know that's tough to read, but asking me to swipe. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe. And now it's asking me, you know, I'm not going to do a signature here. It's asking me for the PIN. I enter my fancy PIN number, 1234, hit OK, and I'm already approved. And I can print my credit card, debit card receipt. This one's got the logo, just to kind of give you a different look. Remember, in the sample data for Keystroke, we've got all those forms set up to print to the screen, so it's a little easier when you're giving a demonstration and all. So that is the ID Tech Sign&Pay. Nice little device. This one, I don't know if you see the back there. When JR's, they put a sticker. I got a sticker right here. They put a sticker saying that it is encrypted for Mercury, and whether it's a test or live account. You'll never get one with a test account. That's just us to do that. And also remember, Mercury's real good about, if you saw, I have a, and I know that's hard to see, I have a Mercury test credit card. You can call them up and say, hey, send me some of those. Again, you do have to use test accounts rather than live accounts, but they are handy for testing. So that is the ID Tech Sign&Pay. Thanks for hearing me out. Are there any questions? I did unmute everybody, right?
Yeah.
Good. I heard somebody laugh, so, so I did do that. Remember, you can always call us with questions, or if you think of something later, we have that. Also remember that we do record these and post them on our YouTube channel, so if you ever want to go back and review anything, or if you miss a week, we have that there as well. So I'll make one last call for questions. And if not, thank you everyone for attending today. Next week, we will be talking about the MagTech iPad. We'll have Lynn here showing you that, and so another good end-to-end encrypted device. So thank you very much for attending.